Hello Cules, it's Pablo here, welcome back to Barca Universal and welcome to the match review of El Clasico. It's Barcelona 1, Real Madrid 3. We've lost the Clasico in pretty tragic circumstances here. It's a sad one, it's a tough one to take, it's a very, very bad day at the office, but it was a really, really good game for large parts, so without any further ado, let's get into it, let's dissect that performance, let's see what we can, grasp from that sort of game, and there is a lot to talk about, so let's get started. And there's no better place to start than Koeman's team selection, which I think we can all agree everyone was really, really happy with. We saw Dest in there ahead of Roberto, we saw Pedri there ahead of Griezmann, and to be fair, he was playing people on merit. Also, Ansu Fati sort of started in a number 9 role, which I found very interesting indeed. But to be fair to Koeman, he actually, he walked the walk, and instead of just talking the talk, which a lot of our other managers have done, he did go there and put out, a different sort of team that you'd expect to see in a Clasico, and Dest, for one, was absolutely magnificent, so well done to Koeman for that. That was our lineup, and now let's go on to the match action because, well, there's so much to get through, and it was a really, really good first half. And it only took about 5 minutes for the game to get really, really going because it's Real Madrid who take the lead, and it's no surprise really. They had a lot of pace, a lot of power in that first half, and against our defence, we saw it against FAVOURS. We've seen it in so many other games. Piqué, Lenglet, even Jordi Alba, you look at Busquets in that midfield, even De Jong to an extent, they can't keep up with pace and power. They just can't, and that is worrying for future games. It really is. It's Benzema who slots it through, and Valverde who defines pace and power, gets through and whips it into the top corner, and you're just thinking, oh dearie me. But Barcelona very, very quickly get back on level terms. It's a wonderful ball over from Messi. It's vintage, really. Messi to Alba, the square to Fati. The youngest scorer ever in a Clasico is Ansu Fati. Our phenomenon gets us level. And from then onwards, it was an unbelievable game. It really was. And this was a sort of Clasico that all the neutrals, I think, surely would have loved. As a Barcelona fan, it was quite stressful. I suppose as a Real Madrid fan, it also would have been stressful. Good chances either end. Messi was really good. He had a good shot saved by Courtois. Benzema had a great chance saved also. Vinicius was getting in behind, as was Valverde. Mendy was causing loads of issues down the left-hand side for us. Jordi Alba kept on getting in. Coutinho was buzzing around. And honestly, guys, a lot was going on. There were chances either end. Of course, Ramos was back in the side today, and we'll get onto him a little bit later. But in terms of the first half, I was content. We looked decent, but we looked a little bit vulnerable at the back, as did Real Madrid. They also looked pretty good. They did give us a good first half, but they also looked pretty vulnerable at the back. In terms of poor performance, for me, Pedri really struggled up there, which was kind of sad to see. He tried doing his job defensively, but he was giving the ball away an awful lot, and I think he did look a little bit out of his depth there, which was a little bit of a shame to see, although I'm not really sure who would have started and done that much of a better job in terms of defensively. Griezmann, for me, just can't be an option anymore. He came on and did absolutely nothing. You look at Dembélé, yeah, that was a good option, but maybe not to start. We'll be getting on to the fact that him and Trincao, who's another option, should have come onto the pitch earlier. But in terms of the first half, really good Clasico, really competitive, and now let's go on to that second half. Because the second half for me was absolutely bizarre. I thought Barcelona absolutely dominated Real Madrid in the second half, and certainly for most parts of it anyway. I think, honestly, Real Madrid, I was expecting a high-tempoed second half with Real coming at us again, Barca doing the same. But it was about the 50th minute where you just saw, hang on a minute, Barcelona could go and win this 3-4-1 because we were getting chances. Messi kept on getting in the ball in good areas. Fati was in behind. Coutinho had some good chances, and there were options there for Barcelona. We were really hurting Real Madrid. They looked tired there. They looked leggy whenever they tried to get the ball in the attack. They weren't accurate enough. They gave us basically nothing to worry about. But as is always the case, and as we should never forget, Real Madrid have a secret friend helping them. And just happens to be the VAR team, and it happens to be the officials, because this, for me, is awful. It really is. And you can let me know what you think about this, but for me, the way Real Madrid get back into the game is nothing short of scandalous. It really is, because we'll start here in Real Madrid on one of their few attacks of the second half down the left-hand side. It's flicked up against Dest's arm, you could say. For me, not a free kick. I found it very odd the way the referee gave it. I'd say just play on. Really weird. His arm's by his side. If anything, it hits his shoulder also, so I don't know why they decided to give that, but there you go. Real Madrid free kick, and you just thought, come on, please no. And it's Cules who's on it. He's usually really good from these sort of areas. He whips it around the far post. It's too high. It goes out, and you're thinking, yeah, there we go. Let's move on. Let's keep pummeling them down the other end. But no. Ramos, he makes a scene. He gets the referee's attention. He ensures the game is stopped. And this is where the pantomime starts, guys. This is where everything unravels for Barcelona. The VAR team, they do their work. They're thinking, hey, Real Madrid are struggling here. Let's go and give them a helping hand. Let's wrap up the La Liga title in just the 7th match week, guys. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So there you go. 1-2 minutes watching something. And for me, this is just a bizarre decision. Yes, Lenglet has Ramos' shirt. He does. There's some contact there. They've got a bit of a hold of each other. But if you're giving penalties for that, you really risk giving 7 or 8 every game. You really do, because I can tell you now, that happens every corner, and worse than that. If you look at the entire highlight, it's Ramos pushing Lenglet, Ramos holding Lenglet's arm. At the end of the highlight, Lenglet has a little bit of a tug of Ramos' shirt. He does have a tug, there's no denying it. But it's just like in the first half, Casemiro does hit Messi. There's no denying it. He makes contact with Messi's leg. But he also gets the ball, so I agree, no penalty for Messi. But in the second half, guys, when Ramos and Lenglet are going at each other just a little bit at the back post, and Ramos decides to collapse the minute there's some contact from the Frenchman, there's no way it should ever be given as a penalty. For me, it's an awful decision. You're just watching it happen like, come on, please, God, no. And there you go, guys. You know what they do. They call the referee over. They ensure he gives the penalty. And it's just an absolute nightmare. Ramos, I mean, does the guy ever miss penalties? He's one of the best penalty takers in the world right now, in Europe if you want. He sticks it away. Neto honestly could have got a hand to it, but it slips just through the corner. And that was a big sucker punch for me. Not only because of how well we were playing, but just because of the fact that Real Madrid, to me, looked pretty dead in that second half. They weren't getting any luck up front. And the refereeing just has to stop in La Liga. It really does. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it all of last season, all of the previous times. The refereeing favours for Real Madrid, for me, are just absurd. And I'd really like if they stopped. But from then onwards, Barcelona, of course, did try and get back into the game. Coutinho had a good shot blocked off the line, really. Courtois made a few saves here and there. You know, Messi was pushing, as was Ansu Fati. But I think here is where we need to look at Ronald Koeman. Surely some subs had to be made, and surely some subs had to be made quickly. 60th minute, 65th, 70th, nothing happened. And it was only in the 80th minute where he finally brought on some players. For me, that's really odd, because we've seen Koeman all season, 55, 60 minutes. He just brings 2 or 3 players on. He's not scared to do that. We know he's not scared. Look at the lineup today, for God's sake. He benched Sergi. He benched Griezmann. He's clearly not scared, guys. So I don't know what was happening there with Koeman. I don't know whether he just had a little bit of a shock in the Clasico and decided, I really don't want to change anything too drastically here. And to be fair, when he made the subs is when the game kind of unravelled for us. So that's a fair point. But 70th minute, maybe bring Dembélé on. Just on its own, Dembélé instead of Pedri. That could have hurt Real Madrid for me. Nothing drastic, nothing absurd. Even Pjanic on for Busquets. Keep the shape. Don't change the formation. Just change some personnel, because Real Madrid weren't exactly threatening us in the second half. They really weren't. And that would be my main frustration from this game. The way we've come out and lost this game 3-1 from a Real Madrid who decided we're not going to attack in the second half. That hurts for me. The refereeing helped them. We didn't help ourselves with our substitutes. And it's just a terrible and a sad day at the office. It's another defeat for Barcelona. And we'll get on to the way the third goal comes about now. It was actually after a spring of Real Madrid attacks. We brought in a lot of new players, as I said. You know, Braithwaite came on for Jordi Alba, for goodness sake. So honestly, we were open at the back. We had a bit of a mess of a formation. I don't know what was going on by the end of it. Ramos had a few good chances. Rodrigo was getting in behind, who came off the bench. And it's Modric who gets the third goal. Neto, who just previously made some really good saves, like I mentioned, to keep the score down. It's in the end Modric who gets the ball. It's Neto who makes a bad mistake, and Modric, some good dribbling, a good outside of the foot finish, and 3-1 Real Madrid. And I'm not going to lie, guys, I don't know about you, I found the 3-1 very, very harsh. I don't think it was a 3-1 game. I think that's a bit of, you know, an over-exaggeration on the scoreline in all truth, but hey, Barcelona, bad day at the office, real shame, poor refereeing from the officials, once more in Real Madrid's favour, no way near good enough from Koeman in terms of the substitutes. But I think as a whole, Barcelona, were we that bad? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so at all. I think especially in that second half, we ran over Real Madrid, and I want to mention players like Serginho Dest, who for me was Barcelona's man of the match. Absolutely superb. What a right back we've got on our hands there. Dest was incredible. But I just want to leave on a note that the fact that Barcelona have actually dropped a lot of points already. Sevilla we drew, Getafe we lost, Real Madrid we lost. We are putting La Liga on the line here, and that was always going to be the case in these opening games. We've had so many tough games. All of the teams we're playing are competing for Europe, or the league title, in fact. And that's the fact of it. We are playing some really hard fixtures here, and we're dropping points in them. We really are. We've got some big games coming up now. We got Juventus coming up midweek, another really tough game. That's the Champions League, so it's not as much pressure you'd expect us to get through anyway. But in terms of the league, guys, Alaves are away next. Has to be 3 points. Then I think we've got Betis as the final game before the international break. Has to be 3 points. We've got to start winning the easier fixtures, I say. Because, hey, I don't know what's easy in modern football anymore, but in the fact that we've played so many hard teams early on makes me think that when we play Betis, when we play Alaves, it's 3 points and it's non-negotiable. So that's all we can say from here, guys. Disappointing to lose the Clasico. It's just never nice, is it? The sort of thing that will keep us up all night. and especially the way it came about. Really frustrating for me, really annoying day at the office, and we just got to move on now. We've got a big Champions League game midweek, then we've got some La Liga games that we have to win, like I said, and also we've got Dynamo Kiev coming to the Camp Nou very soon, so honestly, La Liga's on the line now, guys. Time to wrap up some more points. The positive thing I would say is that Real Madrid don't look good. But hey, when have they ever looked good under Zidane? You know how the way they play. They're happy to play terribly and win the game. And that's what happened today. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. Leave all your thoughts in the comments down below if I've missed anything or whatever. You know, very, very hard to come here straight after the game and just rattle off all the thoughts from what was a crazy Clasico. But I'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. We've got the Juventus game coming up, like I said. So the football does not stop. We've got to get back on our high horse now and see what we can do. So I'll see all of you Cules very, very soon. It's been Pablo once more, and goodbye.